Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
A separate section of a legal document, as a statute or contract or will. Grammar, an expression including a subject and predicate functioning as a part of a complex sentence. A separate section of a legal document, as a statute or contract or will. Bind by a contract, especially for a training period. Grammar, a determiner that may indicate the specificity of reference of a noun phrase. Non-fictional prose forming an independent part of a publication. One of a class of artifacts. An article of clothing. A self-contained part of a larger composition, written or musical. He always turns first to the business section. A specialized division of a large organization. She got a job in the historical section of the Treasury. The cutting of or into body tissues or organs, especially by a surgeon as part of an operation. Geometry, the area created by a plane cutting through a solid. One of the portions into which something is regarded as divided and which together constitute a whole. The finance section of the company. A small class of students who are part of a larger course but are taught separately. A graduate student taught sections for the professor's lecture course. Divide into segments. One of several parts or pieces that fit with others to constitute a whole object. A section of a fishing rod. A distinct region or subdivision of a territorial or political area or community or group of people. No section of the nation is more ardent than the South. A division of an orchestra containing all instruments of the same class. A land unit equal to 1 square mile. A segment of a citrus fruit. He ate a section of the orange. A small army unit usually having a special function. A small team of policemen working as part of a police platoon. A very thin slice, of tissue or mineral or other substance, for examination under a microscope. Sections from the left ventricle showed diseased tissue. A self-contained part of a larger composition, written or musical. A section of a section. A part of a part, i.e., a part of something already divided. A division of some larger or more complex organization. An area composed of subdivided lots. The act of subdividing. Division of something previously divided. The commercial activity involved in repairing old structures or constructing new ones. Their main business is home construction. The act of constructing something. During the construction we had to take a detour. An interpretation of a text or action. They put an unsympathetic construction on his conduct. The creation of a construct. The process of combining ideas into a congruous object of thought. A group of words that form a constituent of a sentence and are considered as a single unit. I concluded from his awkward constructions that he was a foreigner. A thing constructed. A complex entity constructed of many parts. She wore her hair in an amazing construction of whorls and ribbons. Drawing a figure satisfying certain conditions as part of solving a problem or proving a theorem. The assignment was to make a construction that could be used in proving the Pythagorean theorem. A group of words that form a constituent of a sentence and are considered as a single unit. A word or phrase that particular people use in particular situations. Pardon the expression. The communication, in speech or writing, of your beliefs or opinions. Expressions of goodwill. A group of symbols that make a mathematical statement. The feelings expressed on a person's face. A sad expression. The style of expressing yourself. His manner of expression showed how much he cared. Expression without words. Tears are an expression of grief. A group of words that form a constituent of a sentence and are considered as a single unit. Genetics, the process of expressing a gene. The act of forcing something out by squeezing or pressing. The expression of milk from her breast. A clause in a contract providing for arbitration of disputes arising under the contract. A clause in an insurance policy that provides for double the face value of the policy in the case of accidental death. A clause in a contract that provides for an increase or a decrease in wages or prices or benefits, etc., depending on certain conditions, as a change in the cost of living index. A stairway whose steps move continuously on a circulating belt. A clause in a contract that provides for an increase or a decrease in wages or prices or benefits, etc., depending on certain conditions, as a change in the cost of living index. A clause that used to be part of the contract with a professional athlete extending the contract for a year beyond its expiration. The reserve clause was used to bind players to a particular ball club. A traveler riding in a vehicle, a boat or bus or car or plane or train, etc., who is not operating it. A clause that is appended to a legislative bill. A traveler who actively rides an animal, as a horse or camel. A traveler who actively rides a vehicle, as a bicycle or motorcycle. A person who does something thoughtless or annoying. Some joker is blocking the driveway. A person who enjoys telling or playing jokes. An inconspicuous clause in a document or bill that affects its meaning in a way that is not immediately apparent. When I demanded my money, he showed me the joker in the contract. A playing card that is usually printed with a picture of a jester. Acceptable as a deduction, especially as a tax deduction. A clause in an insurance policy that relieves the insurer of responsibility to pay the initial loss up to a stated amount. Taxes, an amount that can be deducted, especially for the purposes of calculating income tax. A clause introduced by a relative pronoun. Who visits frequently, is a relative clause in the sentence, John, who visits frequently, is ill. A clause in a complex sentence that can stand alone as a complete sentence. A clause in a complex sentence that cannot stand alone as a complete sentence and that functions within the sentence as a noun or adjective or adverb. A clause in a complex sentence that can stand alone as a complete sentence. A clause in a complex sentence that is grammatically equivalent to the main clause and that performs the same grammatical function. A clause in a complex sentence that cannot stand alone as a complete sentence and that functions within the sentence as a noun or adjective or adverb. Writing that provides information, especially information of an official nature. Writing that provides information, especially information of an official nature. Computer science, a computer file that contains text, and possibly formatting instructions, using 7-bit ASCII characters. Anything serving as a representation of a person's thinking by means of symbolic marks. A written account of ownership or obligation. Record in detail. The parents documented every step of their child's development. Support or supply with references. Can you document your claims? Writing that provides information, especially information of an official nature. Pronounce a sentence on somebody in a court of law. Criminal law. A final judgment of guilty in a criminal case and the punishment that is imposed. The period of time a prisoner is imprisoned. His sentence was 5 to 10 years. A string of words satisfying the grammatical rules of a language. He always spoke in grammatical sentences. Become smaller or draw together. Enter into a contractual arrangement. Reduce in scope while retaining essential elements. Contract bridge. The highest bid becomes the contract setting the number of tricks that the bidder must make. Make or become more narrow or restricted. A variety of bridge in which the bidder receives points toward game only for the number of tricks he bid. Compress or concentrate. Engage by written agreement. Squeeze or press together. The spasm contracted the muscle. Be stricken by an illness, fall victim to an illness. A binding agreement between two or more persons that is enforceable by law. Make smaller. The heat contracted the woolen garment. The branch of linguistics that deals with syntax and morphology, and sometimes also deals with semantics.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.